Hi, Coach Thorne. Thank you so much for granting me this interview. So, to start off, could you please tell me your name and what do you do here?
My name is Leslie Thorne, and I'm a physical education teacher at Forest Hills Elementary School.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I'd like to start by asking you a few questions. So, my first question I have is what equipment do you use when you're helping a mentally disabled child?
Well, obviously, it depends on the disability and what the child's abilities are, but most of the time, we just modify equipment just like you would do for a younger child. For example, we would use shorter goals. We have for basketball, we have goals that raise and lower. We would have them all the way down so that the child can have success. If we use any type of balls, we use soft padded balls. We have some specially bought balls that have like webbing and like mesh and fabric so that they're easier to grip. We use balloons a lot because they can float and gives time for the child to focus on it so they can use that as a target. Anything like that, any way that we can make it easier for the child to participate. That's the main thing, is just using equipment that we use for a younger child.
Awesome. Thank you. So, the next question I'd like to ask you is how would a mentally disabled child be physically active on their own without any supervision whatsoever?
I think one of the best ways for a mentally disabled child to be active is with some type of music involved. We've had a lot of success with musical videos, whether it's simple things like dancing around or exercises. We use Go Noodle a lot. We use there's all types of, now with technology being the way it is, you can YouTube videos all day long with different types of exercises, and plus that lets us be more hands-on. If someone else or something else if we're projecting the activity, which we're lucky to have that here, or we can project it, then we can be more hands-on and help that child move and help them focus on, not all of their focus is always on, but if they're at home and mom's playing it on the TV, then they can be active. When we went to virtual learning, we had several mentally disabled children who parents would send us videos of them being active, and one of the main things they did was turn on activity in their home, and the kids were doing it on their own. Obviously, mom pushed play, but the kids were being active on their own. And parents have talked about how they can extend that into games like the Wii, where they actually have Wii Sports, and so that can kind of introduce those children to those sports without them being on a playing field with lots of children that can be overwhelming.
That is awesome. I love that y'all have found a way to implement the physical exercise even when y'all went completely virtual. So the next question I'd like to ask you is how does a typical day look from start to finish? And all I simply mean there is when you get up in the morning to the very end of the day when you leave the school. How does it look?
What I would imagine at home for that child, it would be, going through their morning routine as far as there are sometimes some children that require special transportation. We do have a special ed bus that travels around the town and picks up children who need transportation. We try to work, the school tries to work to where those children get out and flow into the classroom just like everyone else. So it would start off with a parent walking the child into the school, but then it would progress to the child going through the line just like everyone else, and then getting out and having a teacher assist them, and then progress to the child getting out on their own and walking in on their own. It depends on the child's IEP, whether that child starts the day in the special ed classroom. We have several self-contained classes here, and I'm sure that way at other schools, or whether they start their day in the regular classroom, maybe with an assistant. Like I said, it depends on the disability. And here at our school, all of our students at one point or another are transitioned into the regular classroom. We have adaptive PE here at Forest Hills, which I think we're one of the few schools in the system that has an adaptive program. It's been in place here now for probably 15 years, and if it's written into their IEP, then they attend this class. For us, it's first thing in the morning. The students go to their classroom, meet with their homeroom for just a few minutes, and then they come down to the gym, and we have a program for them. We have PE for them down here for 30 minutes, and then they transition back. They have their assistants that come with them that are with the class, and we just kind of try to do some one-on-one activities with them, give them some time to move around, and just want them to enjoy being active. And then I guess as they progress through the day, they go in and out. Like we have adaptive classes for art, for music, etc. And then they transition in and out, depending, like I said, on their disability, to their regular classroom. They may go into class for math instruction or for reading instruction, or maybe even just for center time, but where they get some interaction with their classmates to get some social interaction, and then usually finish off the day with back in their self-contained or with their special ed teacher to kind of end out the day and focus before their parent comes and picks them up or they get on the bus to go home.
That is awesome. Y'all have everything figured out. That is amazing. So kind of playing off of that, are there certain requirements concerning how a child exercises?
For a special needs child, no, there is not. There are not any special requirements. We do have a course of study just like any other subject, and we are required to teach those to the student. However, we can modify those in any way that we want. And the main thing is for them to be active, to progress physically with mainly their large motor skills. We don't work on fine motor skills at all, so they're focused on large motor skill development. So we work on kicking, we work on batting a hand, like hitting an object with a hand. That's where we use the balloon. We work on catching. We work on their hand-eye coordination, and then we do a lot of simple things like things you wouldn't expect, like balance. Sitting on an exercise ball is very difficult for them because it takes balance. So we have one day a week where we do that. We also have a bunch of bikes that were donated a few years ago by a parent of a special needs child, and we've continued to collect. And every Monday we pull out those and the students ride. They can ride a bike, a trike, a scooter, but the whole point is to get them familiar with that. We've had 2 students learn how to ride a bike with no training wheels just here in the gym, and it's been great just to see that. We've had one student who was afraid to get on one and didn't understand how to pedal, so we got a stationary bike and put them on, and then I had to actually sit beside and rotated their leg to help them get the feel of this is what, because they always want to go backwards. So anything that we can, but there are no like specific requirements, just that they are provided the same opportunity as their regular peers.
Awesome. So in the hopefully this does not happen very often, but when it does, when dealing with an injured child, are there any particular procedures put into place, or would you just treat them like a regular child?
Really just like a regular child, except for the fact that you need to expect a larger reaction than a regular ed child. Not all the time, but many times you might not be able to figure out exactly what is wrong. Maybe the child falls down and you're trying to figure out, is the knee hurt? Did they hit their head? And all they may be doing is screaming and crying. And it takes a while because of that lack of communication skills to figure out. So patience is the number one thing. And then accepting that no matter how minor it is, that you take it seriously, but also don't overreact, because special needs children it's almost like have a sixth sense as far as feeling your emotion. And if you're in a panic, even if you aren't saying anything, they can feel that and they tend to panic as well. So the main thing is to stay calm, stay patient, but other than that, no.
Alrighty, so the last question I'd like to ask you is there anything you would add to this facility to help better fit the needs of disabled children or just children in general?
I don't know that I would love for the walkway that comes to our gym to be enclosed. It's hard, the kids having to go outside and then come into the gym because of the weather, because even though we have coverings because of rain, I don't really feel like it's a safety concern, because even though some of our special needs children are prone to run away or run from, they usually have monitors on that keeps them safe. But that would probably be the main thing. We've added an ADA playground here at our school, so we have that facility we have that equipment. We have children in wheelchairs, and we have they have places that they can play. But that's probably the main thing that I would change. We have wheelchair accessibilities, and we have ramps. We have all those things that we need, thankfully. But I think that's the main thing. If there was anything at all, it would just be a way to enclose it so that they do not have to go outside in order to get down to the gym to have PE.
Alrighty, thank you so much for your time, Mrs. Lisa.
Thank you so much.